We are back for week one, but week two of the Jackson Mitchell show here on the Connecticut Scoreboard podcast, coming off an exciting game against Utah State and getting ready for the home opener against Central. So, Jackson, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me again this week.
Yeah, so let's start. Last week, what was it like being back on the field and getting to get this first game of the new coaching regime underway?
Yeah, it was definitely exciting. There was obviously a lot of anticipation leading up to it just because of all the new coaches and our expectations for the season and stuff. So it was really exciting to get back out there and feel it again and kind of got my feet under me pretty quick, I would say. This first couple drives just starting slow and then getting into it.
How were the conditions out there? Because I know last year the opener of Fresno State, it was really hot and crazy, and I know someone I saw had brought a thermometer down. It was still pretty warm on the field. You had some elevation. How did this compare to last year's opener?
Yeah, I definitely didn't notice it as much this year. I mean, last year was the craziest conditions I've played in from a heat perspective.
Yeah.
Dehydrated and cramping, and it was so hot last year. So this year, I prepared a lot more. I drank a lot more water, a lot more Pedialyte, those type of things, to get my body right. But I didn't really feel anything. Just it was a little harder to breathe, I would say, but not too bad.
So let's look back at the game a little bit. You know, to get off the defense gets their chance first out there on the field. You guys stop them relatively early in the drive. Offense goes and drives down the field for a pretty easy score there. How are you guys feeling early on in that game? Kind of getting your feet under you and looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously felt really good just the way we started. We started so fast, and defense. There's obviously a lot of nerves going into a game, and for us to get that stop at the beginning was huge. And then for to just watch Nate score in pretty much two runs, was incredible to see, and gave us a lot of confidence for that rest of that quarter. I think we just got a little ahead of ourselves going into the second, that type of thing.
As a defensive player, when you guys win the coin toss, you guys always wanting the team to defer there and you get in the first shot out there.
Yeah, definitely. I think also because a lot of people on kickoff are on defense too, so they get to fly down the field and make some hits to start off the game. But yeah, we always want the pressure. We always want to be the guys on the field. So to start first, we can really set the tone for the game and the physicality and that kind of thing, so our offense can get the ball.
Looking at your own personal stat line, I mean, it's crazy. 16 tackles, you had a sack, you forced a fumble and recovered it. How did it feel for you personally being out there and maybe a bit of a newer scheme with the defense?
Yeah, it felt good. I think the I was really able to play like really confident just because of the game plan and how clear it was and how clear our coaches made it and Coach Moore made it. It was really clear, and I obviously could just go out there and really play football without a lot of thinking. There's obviously a lot of things that we can improve on, and a lot of things that I can improve on as an individual to make my performance better, though, for sure.
As a guy who had played a lot last year too, how would you say the defense is a bit different compared to taking a look at last year's, for instance, and how you guys are going about doing things?
I think just from a scheme perspective, people understand the scheme a lot more, so it works a lot better, obviously, because everybody's understanding what they got to do and what's happening around them, so they can play their zones a little more tighter. They can play their man a little more tighter, and there's a lot more communication going on in this. I would say in the secondary for the pass game, and then in the run game, we get the defensive line fitting their gaps and the linebackers coming down and making them right and that kind of thing. So I think just an overall understanding made it way easier for us to go out there and play football.
Yeah, I'm curious to get it. What's the perspective like on the sideline? Early on in that game, you see two of your starters on the offensive side go down, and you lose your quarterback and one of your best wide receivers out there. What's the feeling at that time? Because I feel like that type of situation always has the potential where it could snowball and it throws everybody off. But it seems like you guys were able to rally around that.
Yeah, I think just from a defensive perspective, I would say it didn't really phase us. Obviously, those are two huge guys for our team, and that sucks just to see them go down. But when you're in the heat of the battle, we kind of really just we got to let it go until the end of the game, and we just gotta that just is more pressure for us, which we like, and we got to step up. We know we got to step up more, so that's just bringing more energy, and we're talking to each other more and getting each other more hyped up and excited to go onto the field because we know we're becoming a bigger part of the game.
I know Coach Moore in his press conference this week mentioned that in the second quarter, things seemed to be a little bit funky on the sidelines. I forget the exact term he used, but it was a little different then. And then it seemed like this things kind of flipped back in the second half. What was that halftime like? And what do you say to you guys to get you kind of back on the right track for that second half?
He kind of just told us like to take a deep breath and relax. Like, the first quarter was great and we were really into it, but we can't get too high or get too low when things aren't going our way. Obviously, we're not going to hold people to 0 points every time. We're not going to score a
Yeah.
touchdown every single drive. So we just got to stay calm. And when things don't go our way, we just got to keep going and figuring it out. And just don't revert back to our old ways. Like this is obviously a new team and a new era. So like just revert back to what we've been learning these past few months about ourselves and we'll be fine.
Yeah, in terms of the game itself, you guys are in this game, start to finish, really going up against a good Utah State team. I know, some of the games in the past couple of years haven't been in that realm of being quite as competitive, where you guys are really in it all the way through the fourth quarter. How does it feel to start building this program back to not only where you're being competitive with these teams, but you're in a position where you expect to win these games?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we expected from just how much work we've put in this entire summer and this in camp. That's exactly what we expected. We expected what to be in the fourth quarter. We're either winning the game or have a chance to win the game. We expect that in every single game we play this year. Um, Obviously, like there's a lot of good things that we can do, but like Coach Mar was saying, just we're not really accepting of just like nice job here or there. Like we did a few good things. Like the biggest statistic that we want is that W. So
Yeah.
to get that, we're not really satisfied.
As you head into the week against Central, the game against Central this weekend, from a defensive perspective, what have you guys been working on? Is a result of that game against Utah State, maybe an area you guys are really working hard to correct coming into this week?
I think for in Utah State, like down the stretch, after we got tired and stuff, our run fits became lazy and they became a little messy. So that's kind of where they started gashing us towards the end in that fourth quarter. We obviously couldn't get that stop that when we needed it. So to give our offense the ball to get a chance to take the lead. So just working on our run fits and make sure they're really clear because obviously this is a different offense than Utah State, so there might be a little more advanced run fits, I guess I would say, because there's more tight ends involved in that type of scheme. But other than that, just making sure our secondary is clean from that perspective. But they did a pretty good job against Utah State.
So being on the defense and going through practice, I'm sure you've seen plenty of reps of Zion, who's been the big talk this week, having to come in and take over last game, and now having that first week, full week, with the ones in practice and getting ready to start this game. What have you seen from him that's impressed you the most about him?
I think he's just really composed for a freshman, which normally you don't really see especially at the quarterback position. There's so much going on, so much to think about, so much to do on the field. You touch the ball every single play. So just to see him come in and just how composed he is and how good of a quarterback he really is, and he has a full understanding of the offense. And from a defense perspective, we have a huge like we believe in him a lot from the defense, and we know he's going to go out there and get the job done. And just looking at his past, he's a winner, so we know he's going to go out there and win, and that's what he wants to do, and he wants to be great, and he came here to be great, and so I think the sky's the limit for him.
I know it's always tough to lose, especially a close game like you guys did against Utah State. What's the feeling of the team heading into this week against Central?
I mean, we're really excited. We kind of moved on from Utah State. We learned what we had to learn, and we moved on, and we're excited. We get to this is our first home game. It's obviously it's like a big game because they're about I don't know what they said 17 minutes from the rent or so. So
Yeah.
they're kind of closer than us, I guess they would say. So this is a big game for Connecticut and that type of stuff for me personally too, obviously because I'm from Connecticut. But we're excited and we're excited to go out there in front of our fans and they get to see it like firsthand what we've been working on and kind of put on a show for them.
All right, I've got to ask this one because I know it's blown up on UConn social media here on Twitter especially. I actually think you were being interviewed in this clip in one of those 5-part series that they did. And in the background in the locker room, it says War Daddies. And that is just completely taken off. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so like award daddy, coach kind of described to us. He brought it to like the team. Obviously, award daddy is just like it's just like a bad man on the field. It's just a dog, someone who's getting out there on the field. And he's aggressive. He's physical. He's changing the game. He's making plays. And the way he described it was like you turn on the film and you just know like that guy's a war daddy. There's nothing really to be said. You can just the film speaks for itself. So like a guy, like I could describe it just like from an NFL perspective, like if you turn on a film and watch someone like Brian Dawkins or something, like
Mhm.
his film just speaks for himself. Like you don't have to say anything about him. You just turn it on, you watch his highlights, and you tell the type of player he is. You tell he's a dog. You tell he gets after people. That's kind of who a War Daddy is.
All right, I like it. I know that's been going off, and everyone was like,
Yeah,
their interest, like, what does that mean? I don't think anyone heard it before, so
it's a
it's
good
good to
thing.
get some insight into there. Yeah, no, I like it. I think everyone's taking it on. It's good to see the team take on that mentality too.
Yeah.
Um, I'll mention, to kind of wrap things up a bit here, for those who might not have gotten a ticket yet to come to the game on Saturday, or for those who are coming, what's your message to the fans heading into this weekend in this game?
I mean, expect a show. I think that's what we want to do this year. We want to give our fans a show, and we're excited to go out there and play, especially against a Connecticut team. There's going to be a lot of people from Connecticut there, and just expect to see like just this new era and what we've been working on, and that I think they should expect a better performance than they saw on Utah State. I know they saw a lot of things that they were happy with and satisfied with, but we obviously weren't. I think they should expect a much better performance and a big game from the Huskies.
I like it. I like it. I know at least I am, and I think a lot of people are excited to get out to the rent on Saturday. So Jackson, as always, really appreciate you taking some time during the week here leading up to the game to come on, and we'll catch up next week to talk Central and preview the Syracuse game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. Make sure everybody comes out to the game this weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jackson.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.